Welcome back to JW News. My name is Vern Houle. I'll be the host for the next few minutes. Today, do we ever have an exciting program ahead of us? Now, of course, we'll be covering the headliner about Jehovah's Witnesses sending letters to people that have died. We'll be looking at that. We'll be also looking at the teen accused of murdering Jehovah's Witnesses in Illinois was caught. And then we will be looking at a follow-up on the naked kidnappers, the Jehovah's Witness naked kidnappers, and what made them, or was part of the reason that they got into this predicament. So they claim they were into kinesiology. We're going to take a look at the type of kinesiology they were into. And for myself as a Jehovah's Witness, I was supporting this also in the Edmonton area. It was a big thing. So we're going to talk about this a little bit. So let's carry on with the first article that we're going to look at. And this is from Action News. So here it is.
Grieving father reached out to Action News Jax.
He says Jehovah's Witnesses started sending him letters to his family and church after reading his daughter's obituary. New at 6, Action News Jax Katie McKee is live in San Marco. And Katie, this father says he found the letters offensive.
Yeah, John, and he also described them as inappropriate. He received the first one to his home only weeks after his daughter had passed away and received the second to his church here in San Marco. A local father who wishes to remain anonymous sent us a copy of a letter sent to his family's church reading, "Sorry about your loss. I read about it from the obituary. Jehovah's Witness literature was attached."
In a time when a family is grieving, they need to be surrounded by family and friends and their community of faith, and that's it. It's not a time for a person to proselytize, their views.
He tells me it's the second time his family received a letter like this. Something similar came to his home in January, shortly after he lost his daughter.
We found a tract from the Jehovah's Witnesses that I thought was just horribly inappropriate.
The most recent letter was signed by an Eva Robinson. We went to the return address listed. She didn't want to be shown on camera, but agreed to answer some of our questions. What is the overall purpose of them getting this pamphlet? If they belong to a Presbyterian church.
That doesn't matter. We are not trying to change anybody's religion. We're just simply encouraging.
I told Robinson we were contacted by a family who was angered and offended.
I'm sorry, I meant no harm.
Robinson tells me she frequently sends these letters to families listed in obituaries, and this is the first time she has heard of someone having an issue with it.
I think it just reflects upon, her leadership that is unfortunately interpreting scriptures in a very shallow way.
Robinson tells me she attends Kingdom Hall of Jehovah's Witnesses. I reached out to all of them here in Jacksonville to see if they agree with her sending letters to these families. I did not hear back. Reporting from San Marco, Katie McKee, CBS 47 Action News Jax.
So the reason that they didn't hear anything back is because the organization, and I'm speaking from being in this organization for 30 years. Now, I was out now for 10, but imagine the push on all the people to write letters during COVID. So, and a lot of elderly people, they're pushed to put in so much time to Jehovah. So they can't walk, they don't have a vehicle, so they sit at home and they read the obituaries and they write letters to people's families. And in some cases it does work, they console people, but it's an invasion of privacy. And if you're a Jehovah's Witness and you're writing letters and you're writing letters to the obituary, guess what? You could be on the news just like Erica was on the news, and they may just show up at your door. And all you Jehovah's Witnesses in the area, they're going to ask, are you doing this? And you can't say anything because we all know, as being 30 years in the organization, that yes, the organization pushes its people to do stuff like this. This is not the person's fault. This is the fault of the governing body. This is the fault of the Jehovah's Witnesses organization. Shame on the governing body. Shame on them for taking advantage of people in this way. It's sad. If people want to know about Jesus, if people want to know about God, they will go to their local church. They will, when they're burying people, families are getting together, they already have that all figured out. They do not need extra information coming in from Jehovah's Witnesses confusing the matters. If they want to know about Jehovah's Witnesses, they'll go search it out. So this is what's happening. Thank you to Action News. Now, moving on, the teen accused of murdering Jehovah's Witnesses in Illinois' neighborhood has been caught. He shot, we all know the story, a 15-year-old is being charged with murder in the shooting death of a Jehovah's Witness, Northern Illinois city of Rockford, according to the police. So we all know the story. The man and his family were out in the ministry, in the service, and his wife and daughters were at the door. And a guy drives by and shoots the man, the brother, sitting in the car. And of course, the organization has nothing there to help people. Now, this young guy was caught finally. Witnesses told the police that shot was fired. The teen was taken to a juvenile detention center, but his name wasn't released due to his age. So police did not immediately release the name of the man who was shot and killed either. So here it is. It's all over with. We don't know if this young man is a Jehovah's Witness or what his motive was, but we do now know he is caught. He's no longer at large. Moving on to the next article, we were talking on one of our previous articles, and I'll link it. If this is your first time, I'll link it to this video description so you can see the original article. I'm not going to read it all. I'll paraphrase it. So here's a story in my backyard here in Edmonton, Alberta, just south of Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. And Jehovah's Witnesses, a whole family of Jehovah's Witnesses here were involved. And they were, let's just read it. What happened is they were on some kind of a trip with not eating, kinesiology, drinking some teas, pseudoscience, and combining the pseudoscience with the Jehovah's Witness mentality that the end's always coming, everything's Satan, everything's Satan. This is became toxic, and this whole family was naked, and they sped through the community, almost hurting people. Did in fact hurt some people, but you'll have to look at that. So they all got sentenced, they all got charged. Here's what happened. The mother and the baby were slammed against the dashboard of a truck. They weren't harmed. The group kept chanting, Jehovah, 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 even when the police arrived. They resisted arrest, which the officers described as extreme strength. They were unfazed by pepper spray and repeated taser shots, 4 shots. So on Thursday in the Leduc courtroom, Justice Jacqueline Schaefer said, well, she understood that the family was acting in a misguided attempt to rescue their neighbors from what they perceived to be the impending apocalypse. By trying to save their souls, the accused put their neighbors' lives at risk. Such behavior can never be condoned, said Schaefer. While the kidnapping could have netted each of the accused up to 10 years behind bars. That's what these crimes were. Schaefer accepted a joint submission of a 1-year sentence to be served in the community. And that's not delivering Watchtower and the Awakes. So they have to serve 1 year in the community, starting with 6 months of house arrest, followed by 2 years of parole, understanding that the family posed no real continued threat to their community. So house arrest, so they're confined to the house. And in some cases, they have to wear an ankle bracelet to make sure they don't leave the house. Now, this is not new because there's Jehovah's Witnesses in South Edmonton that were batting, going down and batting the windows, the rear view mirrors off cars. They drive along with a bat and they're knocking them off, and they got house arrest too. These were Jehovah's Witness kids. So Edmonton in this area does have a reputation for Jehovah's Witness doing some weird things. So as part of their condition, the family is barred from taking part in various forms of alternative medicine, including applied kinesiology. And we're going to look at that. Applied kinesiology, otherwise known as muscle testing, is a pseudoscientific alternative medical practice where practitioners diagnose and treat their clients based on testing muscles for strength and weaknesses. The family members will also have to attend counseling to teach them critical thinking and reasoning skills. So hopefully through this counseling, they will wake up, this family, and they'll realize that they were all under a trance. The Rutherford trance, the founder of the modern day Jehovah's Witnesses. So while the court psychologists believe it was this mental cocktail of pseudoscience mixed with their religious beliefs that created the delusion behind their crimes, Schaefer acknowledged that many questions around their bizarre actions will likely remain unanswered. So this is just a bizarre case. So let's talk about this kinesiology and what's going on. I have a couple of articles. I'm going to attach the links to these on my descriptions. But first of all, applied kinesiology. Perhaps that's new to you. Perhaps it's not. Perhaps you use it. There is a medical part of this where it's done through chiropractic offices. I'm going to show you that over here. But I want to read this. Applied kinesiology, phony muscle testing for allergies and nutrient deficiency. So there's a whole group and a ringleader in St. Albert, just north of Edmonton, that's involved in this. And it's all linked to Vancouver, Canada. And there's a ringleader down there. And why do I know? Because I personally was involved and I paid thousands and thousands of dollars. So at the end of the year, I tried to go get on my taxes. I tried to take these receipts. I put them into my account, and my accountant says, Vern, you have $12,000 worth of receipts you can't claim. And I said, why? None of these people are authorized. They're not medically authorized. So there's a whole group of these people within the Jehovah's Witness communities. And these ones in Vancouver are elders and pioneers. And they're into this pseudoscience. They're backing it through their organization. So here's a little bit about it. Applied kinesiology is a term most commonly used to identify a pseudoscientific science of muscle testing and therapy. It was initiated in 1964 by George J. Goodhart, JRDC, and it has become quite elaborate. Its basic notion is that every organ dysfunction is accompanied by a specific muscle weakness, which enables diseases to be diagnosed through muscle testing procedures. Most practitioners are chiropractic, but naturopaths, medical doctors, dentists, bogus nutritionists, physical therapists, massage therapists, nurse practitioners, and multi-level distributors, and this is the one I got involved with, multi-level distributors, most notably Nature's Sunshine, and this could be the ones involved in Leduc, I'm not sure, but this was a multi-level, like thousands of dollars. These people charge $60 to $80 an hour, and then they get you on all their prescribed Nature's Sunshine, and it's all out of Vancouver, all out of the coast, and it's a gimmick. Over the couple of years, my ex was into this, and she thought she was going to lose weight because of this kind of stuff, but it's garbage. It doesn't work. It screws with your mind, and it's not tax deductible, not recognized. It's pseudoscience. So there is some claims of other types of kinesiology that you'll get in the hospital. And I'm going to show you that. So kinesiology has gotten a bad name because of this group, this Nature's Sunshine. And you guys can read this whole article. But these guys are the ones here in Canada, and they're screwing with people's minds, and they're stealing your money. They're con artists. They're charlatans. And in my opinion, they need to be stopped. And if someone were to call me, I'd give all the names. So applied kinesiology. I went to this, and I don't want people to get a bad idea. This guy here, he has 425,000 subscribers. He's a doctor, and he realizes that this is just bogus. And so anyways, I want to give you just a little bit of his. I'll put the link on here. And he realizes that there's so many people making money off this that are nothing. They don't even understand it, like this group out of Vancouver. So here we go.
For the record, state your name and profession.
John Manning Jr., Doctor of Chiropractic.
And what is your specialty?
Applied Kinesiology.
How long have you been in practice?
35 years.
And your purpose for meeting here today?
To reveal the truth about applied kinesiology.
Okay, so this guy's a real artist. He's a real McCoy. He's a chiropractic. and there is real kinesiology, and he'll show you all about it here. And it's all about our spines. It's all about electricity, and you get a block in your spine, and he can test it with how much strength you have. And if you go to physiotherapy, they use the same kind of technique. Nothing to do with these other people that go like this, and then they chant. This group out of Vancouver and Good Hearts group, well, they have a book and they look up all these things and they start chanting. They chant. They actually chant while they're doing this applied kinesiology. And then we walk out of there and give them $500. It's just so much BS. It has to be stopped. So this guy's a real good, it's a real good article to watch. And I think we all have to beware. A lot of Jehovah's Witnesses like to get involved in these little things, these little pyramid schemes, because that's really what this cult is about. So folks, I have a petition out to stop minors from discrimination. Stop discrimination. Jehovah's Witnesses are the biggest group on earth that discriminate, shun, and disfellowship for no reason at all. And so we have a petition out in Canada. These groups are treated as charities, and there's lots of money coming from the lottery. So if you're a Jehovah's Witness and you think that all your money's clean, no, it's all lottery. A lot of lottery money in Canada gets funneled into all the charities all over Canada. And Jehovah's Witnesses, they have their hands out. They have their hands out looking for charity. So we feel it's wrong. It's wrong for this group that does nothing for helping society. They rate 0 and X's and F's on Charity Canada because they do nothing, zilcho, for helping homeless, helping needy, helping anybody. They do nothing but send their money to New York, to the governing body, and they are building Ramapo. And all the money all over the world's coming in there to build this because they're going broke. And this is what's happening. So that's it for JW News. And until next time, keep living your life